TIFU telling my dad I, 20 meters, have never had sex. A few days ago I decided to visit my dad at his house. It was his birthday. I showed up with wine. We got a little drunk. Maybe more than a little. When my dad was done going on and on about how much he missed my mom since she divorced him, he changed the subject and focused on my love life. He asked if I had a GF and I said no. Then he asked if I've ever had a GF because he's never seen me with a girl. I said never. My dad poured the last drop of wine in my glass and asked if I was still a virgin. I was tempted to lie, but I paused too long, so I said yes. My dad said I had no reason to feel ashamed about my virginity, but encouraged me to have as much sex as possible before I end up married to a person whose vagina comes with an impenetrable encryption. I ignored the obvious reference to my mom's you-know-what and called it a night. I asked my dad if I was allowed to sleep in the spare bedroom because I didn't want to drive home drunk. My dad said I was more than welcome. I must have been sleeping for less than an hour before I woke up to the sound of my dad knocking on the door. I don't remember what I mumbled as I opened my eyes, but the moment my dad heard my voice, he entered my room with another person. It was a girl. My dad introduced her by name, but did the air quotes thing with his fingers to imply that it was a fake name. I could tell my dad was still drunk. Exhibit A, he continued making the air quote gesture, even when it was no longer necessary. Not gonna lie, I was still drunk too, but not drunk enough to disregard the weird fucking shit that was happening. Without giving me proper time to react, my dad quickly said the girl knew exactly what to do before closing the door on his way out. The girl did not know what to do. She did nothing other than awkwardly waiting for me to say something. I eventually asked her what was going on and she said my dad hired her to sleep with me. I died of embarrassment, especially when the girl asked me to explain if I was on the zero experience or the some experience end of the virgin spectrum. Without thinking, I said I was gay. It was the first time I actually said it out loud. The girl sat down on the bed and asked if I was a top or a bottom. I shrugged and said I didn't know yet. My face must have been so red at that moment. The girl said if I was willing to go shower, then she would basically be willing to motorboat my butt. To be honest, I considered it. I'm human. I'm horny. However, the situation was way too weird for me to be completely comfortable doing something that's sexual with someone I didn't know at all. I said thank you but no thank you to the girl and apologized for my dad putting both of us in an awkward position. She said she understood and for some reason thought it was necessary to mention that my dad was one of their regular customers. She made it clear for the record that she never had sex with my dad, but explained that some of her older coworkers at the escort service really enjoyed spending time with him. She said she can't wait to tell the other sex workers that she met me because apparently my dad loves to talk about his son with the people he pays to fuck. I was not psychologically prepared for the unexpected discussion regarding my dad's sex life. The girl had a severe case of motor mouth. When she finally stopped talking, I learned that my dad sleeps with sex workers who kind of look like my mom and that women closing their eyes with too much food in their mouth and saying, turns him on. The girl apologized for abusing my good listening skills and asked if there was nothing she could do for me. I said she could keep my sexuality between the two of us. She said her lips were sealed until the time comes to suck cock. My dad was passed out in the living room when we approached the front door. I went back to bed when the girl was gone and eventually fell asleep. The following morning I confronted my dad. I said I didn't appreciate what he did and made sure he understood that he wasted his money because nothing happened. My dad was apologetic and promised never to cross that line again, no matter how much alcohol is involved. Despite his apology, the mood was still somewhat tense. I decided to break the tension by closing my eyes and saying while eating breakfast. The look on my dad's face was priceless. I lost my appetite soon afterwards because I instantly regretted doing something that might arouse my father. TL. Doctor told my dad I was still a virgin and his response was to blindside me in the middle of the night with a sex worker who realized I was not into girls and ended up telling me more than I wanted to know about my dad's history with other sex workers. Motorboat your butt? My goodness, bless her heart. That's a professional. Don't know if you're a top or bottom. Let's find out. It's rare to find a professional who still has enthusiasm for their craft. She really was trying to come up with a way to do her job. Hard worker. This whole op was an advertisement for this girl. Op, get her deets. I have concerns about her discretion. And if I were op, I'd assume the cat's about to be out of the bag. As many sex workers will point out, they're not professional therapists but get treated like them. Discretion is part of the job, but unlike a therapist, they're not legally bound to. Stay quiet. And GT. I learned that my dad sleeps with sex workers who kind of look like my mom and that women closing their eyes with too much food in their mouth and saying, turns him on. And GT. I decided to break the tension by closing my eyes and saying while eating breakfast. Bro, this has me rolling on the floor laughing. Sounds like op def is a top. Or at least a power bottom. Your comment makes me feel like you might know me better than I know me lol. And GT. I decided to break the tension by closing my eyes and saying while eating breakfast. Of all the things you could have said to ease the tension, you went in for the kill. He had two options. A. Aggressively assert boundaries. B. An attempt at an adult discussion. So, option D. Nuclear escalation it is. Op does indeed prefer option D. Yeah, you didn't fuck up. Sounds like you handled yourself well in the face of others' fuck-ups. The fact that drunk me was in control at the time makes me wonder if sober me would have handled the situation better or worse. Drunk you still has more willpower than sober me. Props lol. Nah, it's probably cause he's gay. Straight op would have shamefully fucked her. He speaks the truth. And GT. She said her lips were sealed until the time comes to suck cock. This part is priceless. Lol, she had more funny lines like that, but she spoke too fast for me to remember the rest. A lot of escorts and strippers have wonderfully crude senses of humor. I expected this post to go. I never had sex, so my dad offered to take my virginity, considering I've seen **3** posts talking about how their mom took their virginity from this godforsaken subreddit. And GT. Considering I've seen **3** posts talking about how their mom took their virginity from this godforsaken subreddit. This sub features a lot of creative writing, so I choose to believe it's not as bad as it sounds. Still, ew. Half the shit on here is probably made up lol. You just made that up. It's closer to 90% on my made up statistic. 75% of percentages are made up. 60% of the time, it works every time. I am a filthy Redditor for years, and well versed in every popular TIFU that cursed this site by its mere existence. I applaud this as my absolute favorite. Mine's still the euthanized by being blown to pieces fish, but yeah, this is up there, too. I'm sorry. What? Delight yourself.
https://www.reddit.com/typhus/comments/savicux/share_amp_content=share_button and yourself flavored and check out the comments. The absolute gold.
Oh my god XD, thank you. Poor fish. GIF? Giphy. 8HMD9 Yak Visa 3452 SPN. 20 isn't that old, so don't put too much pressure on yourself to lose it. But also don't put too much pressure on your first time. I'm not ashamed to be a virgin at my age, but I am more curious now than I was in my teens. Tears of joy, are you actually gay or was that just something you blurted out in panic? It's something I blurted out in panic, but it happened to be true. The only thing I'm confused about is if you are actually gay and decided to just admit it, or if you lied about it because of how awkward the situation was. No offense intended, mind you, just curious. I was being honest about my sexuality. I never planned to share that information with a sex worker, but I panicked and acted without really thinking. Strange enough, when she offered to play with my butt, I did get a little turned on, which is kind of confusing because I've never been sexually attracted to the opposite sex. If I learned anything from this experience, it's that I should probably stop focusing on labels. And GT, without thinking, I said I was gay. It was the first time I actually said it out loud. Asterisk. The implication is pretty damn clear.